Sakalalal, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Hashem, Rakadash. Our brothers to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect of the nation of Israel. When the Hebrew Israelites we come out every week, you know, to prophesy the downfall of this wicked society, you know, and the coming in for our Lord's kingdom, the kingdom of Israel, you know, which the people who were, you know, brought through the transatlantic slave trade, along with the so-called indigenous people on the West here, who are the Latinos and Native Americans, who are the true biblical Israelites, and to our people that are also scattered abroad, man. You know, we are the true biblical Israelites, and this is the time where our people should be getting ready to rejoice, but they don't have a clue what's going on, man, because the Lord is about to overthrow our enemy, man. You know, and bring in a righteous kingdom. You know, where we can rule, you know, and we're just going to be ruled in righteousness. Yeah? Now we can see all the moves that are being made, signaling the end of this man's kingdom, and especially that arrogant one over there in America who you know as the DJ Trump. You know, he's basically doing some things right now, man. Look, man. Speeding the process, you know, of the fall of our enemy, man. So we're witnessing the demise or the collapse of an empire. You know, the revised Roman Empire. We're seeing America making all the mistakes, you know, that basically are gonna lead to their demise, man. You know, now we're currently having a trade war, you know, and the trade war is about to get hot. You know, Trump 150% tariff on Chinese goods. Yeah. And Chinese ain't having it. But guess what? The whole tariff thing is a scam, man. It's a sham, I should say. A sham, you know what I mean, to basically put more burden on the people living in those countries, man. Right. You know, because at the end of the day, who is going to pay all these tariffs, man? Yeah, it's coming right back around to the consumer. Yeah, the consumer is who's going to feel it, man. And this is a neat and cunning way to even disguise inflation, because you have inflation to a certain point where they don't want you to understand that there's something going on with the economy, man. You know, so for these things are distraction, you know what I mean? Diversion from the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? God. A joke, and a big joke.
First Thessalonians 5 verse 1 say, but of the times and the seasons, virgin, ye have no need that I write unto you,
right.
For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
Right, so a lot of people see these things going on and they can't connect the dots, man. Because you were meant to understand what's going on, man. The book Daniel tells us, the wise will understand and none of the wicked will understand, man.
God.
You know? So we know perfectly that the day of the Lord will catch them like a thief in the night. You know? Coming up like a what? An element of surprise, man. Yeah? A day that you never look forward for. Yeah? You know, a lot of people out here, especially out here in Jamaica, man, they're seeing certain things going on internationally. Oh, that's man own business that have nothing to do with it. When the Middle East almost ready now to turn into, you know, a powder keg. You know, people feel like that's have nothing to do with them. You know, one of the biggest trading, one of the companies that do the most, that involved with most of the trade that take place upon the planet. Two countries, by the way, which is China and America, you know, are going at it, man. And what they're gonna do and the end result of this is gonna affect everyone, man. Everyone is gonna be affected. You know, you have trade You have trade routes that are being disputed, like the South China Sea. You know, we have the Houthi rebels over there. You know, over there in Yemen, threatening ships that pass by through there. So very soon you're gonna see the effects of these different conflicts popping off in the Middle East, man.
Specific ship Malta.
Yeah. And it's really gonna get, things gonna really get dire, man. You know, the US military basically moving a whole lot of troops over there, you know, claiming that they're gonna take on the Houthi rebels, man. And we know that there's a larger or a broader conflict is coming to the Middle East, man. Especially with Israel. You know, that's why you hear the rhetoric with Iran. They want an excuse to basically move military personnel in the Middle East, you know what I mean, to do the business with Iran, have a conflict with Iran. Yeah, that's what is coming down. And they don't make the decision already to have a war with Iran, man. Yeah, they done it's sign and seal. You know, you remember that video that man telling all the
Generally, I think
the different countries I'm gonna take down. So it's
finish off with Iran.
Yeah, Iran was the last one, man. And guess what? It's not gonna turn out the way all them they want it to turn out. Yeah? Why not?
Verse 3 says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Yeah.
Zephaniah 1 verse 13, verse 14, so the great day of the Lord is near. It is near and is it greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. So the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Right?
So the day of the Lord is at hand, man. You know? And as simple as this thing's going right now, you know, you have some great tension that's when it bursts, and the tension goes, you know, that's when the chaos ensues, man. You know? And within that chaos, you know, all troubles gonna manifest, man. All type of troubles, man. The scripture say you're gonna run from one to the next. You know? It's a perfect storm. Yeah? It's gonna be a perfect storm, man. You know?
And they say that company need them like a team in the night. Because even
see that like an earthquake don't give much warning, man.
A day of trumpet and a day of alarm against men. A day of trumpet and an alarm against men city.
And look here, back in ancient times, that's how a city was warned, man. Of war. The enemy is in the land. Or they are approaching the gates. You know, you have men who sound an alarm, or you know, a trumpet was sound. You know, when the trumpet give a sound, it's an alarm of war. In modern times, though, you have air sirens, you know, and all these things. But we are also the trumpets, man. Sounding the alarm. Yeah? A matter of fact, the scripture tell you that. Yeah, we are the trumpets, man. Blow in the trumpet. The scripture says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion. Yeah? So what will come out, bringing up the word of the Lord, as warning. The scripture says, give them warning from me. Yeah? And we're telling you that, little man, we are poised, you know, or we are in the brink heading into a third world war. You know, and DJ Chum look like him gonna make that come to fruition for you all, man.
Against fenced cities and against their towers, and I will bring distress upon men,
Come on.
and they shall walk like blind
Why are you
men.
gonna walk like blind men? You're not privy to all the information, what was going on, and what it was going to lead to. You're gonna be in confusion, man. Don't know what the hell to do, because the only thing you know to do is say, go out, indulge in any form of wickedness you normally indulge in. You know? Any form of wickedness you normally indulge in, you know, your life ventures that you have, you know, whether going on trips, you know what I mean, partying, going to work, you know, whatsoever a man commonly do through the course of the year, that's what you're busy knowing about. But guess what, all those things are coming to an halt, and the next move after that, they're not going to know. Yeah? Because all stability that they used to, is going to fall apart. Yeah.
It's like take a routine,
Yeah.
and then use it, make fun out of it.
Yep, fun.
Just like even the container thing where they find that.
Yeah.
So much videos now put up on TikTok, and me now put up, people have put up so them have fried chicken and them yard and them store chicken and all that stuff. They make fun of it up on TikTok. Until maybe one day you hear a serious of a outbreak or a serious virus lick, man. And then they're gonna say, yeah, if them did know.
That they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. So neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy,
Right.
for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land.
Alright, so how are you going to be done speedily? By thermonuclear bombs. Yeah, that's how speedily it get done.
And this is Joel 2 verse 20 say, but I will remove far off the northern army,
Far off from you. Yeah. So?
but I will remove far off from you the northern army,
Right.
and will drive them into a land barren and desolate.
And that's why yesterday the US military, you know, they are amassing troops, you know, down there in the Middle East, man, especially to deal with Yemen and the Houthi rebels, man. And that's just an excuse, by the way, to move the US Army into the Middle East, man. You know, there's a greater war coming. And that's the reason why they're moving so many troops down there. Yeah? And you see, a lot of these people who went into the US military for benefits, you know, you're going to see some people that try to back out. And you watch us, man. When they realize that war is coming, a lot of people are trying to backpedal.
Fly back in the country.
But it's not going to work, man. Oh, we're going to go on a training exercise. The next thing you know, we reach the Middle East. Yeah. Hey, look, man. You have a devil dealing with, man. And trust me, very soon, you're all going to find out that it's even too late to backpedal, man. You know, they're gradually bringing you all to the Middle East, man, because they know that there's a major conflict coming, man. And Israel is getting really bummy right now. The Israelis are getting really bummy right now, you know. Certain Arab nations are making certain moves that is not trustable. Yeah? So they're wondering if there's another Arab war coming, you know. Are they going to be attacked by surprise? Going to be taken by surprise? Yeah? It happened once, you know, so they are basically on their guard, because one of the biggest army that they try to pacify in NATO, you know, one of the biggest army in that region is closer to Israel border, and they are not friends with Israel, man. You know, they are really upset over Palestine and all these things, the Gaza, you know. So Erdogan is not taking any talk from, you know, from Israel. So Israel can't make an excuse anymore that, look, man, we are bombing Syria, you know, because of Iran bringing military equipment closer to You can't do that anymore because they said they're going to shoot down Israeli jets, man.
Like,
You know, they moved the Turkish military over there in Syria, and now they are saying that, you know, basically they're setting up a no-fly zone without even saying they are setting up a no-fly zone.
you're right, so they must set up one too.
You know what I mean?
One set up.
So things is really getting hectic in the Middle East, man. You know, they're really gonna do something about them Israelis, man. And guess what? America needs to be there, you know, on the clock to save them. Yeah?
It's the worst, this video go around with the health workers, them,
Right.
with the Israeli military, execute them.
Gone.
Yeah, execute 15 healthcare workers.
Gone.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for them gutter rats, man. It's not looking good. So they're relying on the US Army to basically come to their aid when this thing kick off, and it's gonna be kicking off very soon, man. Now, a lot of things be going on in the background. You know, they're ready with that digital device.
Done.
You know, we just need a crisis now. You know, and smooth sailing. Smooth sailing. That's a crisis now, man. You see? So this is how the Lord said, even at the door. It's at the door.
Done.
Yeah? Yeah, man, they think peace and safety, man. They're not really a go on. You know? Everybody going back to so-called normal.
Hey,
Not knowing it's a new norm. And it's gonna become obvious
done.
that it's a new norm. Yeah?
Esau gonna use the whole sea change narrative
God.
to even bring forth food shortage, man.
God.
And the famine. To bring forth the food shortage and the shortage, because when you check what go on in America with the once in a generation weather.
Yeah.
If you notice where those weathers are hitting, man, all them hail, like all golf ball size hail, I hit mostly in the Midwest and in the South where the farmlands are.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah, they can blame climate change for or sea change for all the, you know, problems that is coming with food and all these things, man. You know, low yield crops because of change. You know, that's what they're gonna do. Yeah, but we know all the crisis that basically the scriptures say we are not ignorant of their devices, man. So we know that the crisis that is coming, man. They are the ones that, you know, going to benefit, are made to benefit from these crises. And so we understand what's going on. A lot of people are going to be confused, you know, thinking, you know, not knowing what the hell is going to happen, but going to be the outcome of anything, man. Panicking and shit. That's what's going to happen, man. All the people are going to be panicking, man. And rightfully so.
And will drive him into a land barren and desolate, and his face towards the east sea, and his inner part towards the uttermost sea.
Right.
And his sting shall come up,
Right.
and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things.
Right. Yes, a whole lot of US troops gonna die off over there in the Middle East, man. And then they're gonna have a draft, you know, raking more soldiers in. You know, you have all those legislation that basically, you know, set in place to get a lot of you know, shipped off to the front. You know, and warfare is not like once, man. Especially if you are in infantry, it's not like one time. You know, we have a stronger, still a better chance. You know, than be hit by a bullet. You know, the ratio of you being hit by a bullet is very slim. You know, a bomb here and there, but no, you don't have to worry about bullets, man. You know, you need to worry about drones, man. That stalk your ass and put you to death. You know, that's a new type of warfare that a lot of you don't used to, I don't know about, a lot of you never trained for. Yeah? And they run a lot of drones, man. They be supplying Russia with drones. Them and China be supplying Russia with drones, man. You know? So you know how this thing go. Yeah?
And they open up the tunnel them and them
A lot of Israeli
barrage
soldiers
and
died,
drones
man, by Hezbollah using drones, man. The one time these things were never heard of. The man be dropping bombs in the middle of Israeli soldiers, man. You know? Without them having a shooting war. They drop bomb on them, rotted grenades and all these things from these drones, man. Yeah? The warfare is a lot different now, man. So it's good to say your stink can come up.
Can.
Yeah?
See how it's
You'll save us. You know? Crows will be eating a lot of your bodies, man. Yeah?
Joel 3 and verse 1 it says, For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
God.
It says, verse 9, it says, Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near,
God.
let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks spears, let the weak say I'm strong.
God. Look at what the Houthis doing, man. I think I report today, I mentioned it. You know, they claim to shoot down a US drone, man. Yeah? They are not only saying, but they are strong, they're actually doing shit. Yeah? Certain things that were so unheard of, man. You know? Are doing things that, you know, a couple years ago you don't hear that happen.